Welcome everyone. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Inshallah, today we'll continue our discussion that we have started last week about the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his message. Again, I would like to remind you that we will be discussing this from the Risale Inner Collection, and the focus area will be on what this means to us as the humanity, and how should we understand his message in the way that um, what it explains to us, what his message explains to us, and why his existence and his mission really matters for the humanity and for the universe. And we talked about beyond any um, beyond any worldly laws or worldly peace or life. Um, it actually is something that is deeper, that tells us about our purpose in life. And inshallah, today we'll try to discover more of that from the 19th word from the Risale Inner Collection. Our speakers today will be Dr. Colin Turner from Durham, England, and Jazmi Yeniai, one of our imams in the Bloomfield Muslim Community Center in Bloomfield, Connecticut. And inshallah, I will be moderating the session. So the first part, inshallah, that I'll share with you is the third droplet. Inshallah, I'll read through this, and then we can, inshallah, discuss. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Wa salatu wa salamu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Third droplet. If you wish, come. Let us go to Arabian Peninsula, to the era of bliss. In our imaginations we shall see him at his duties, and visit him. Look, we see a person distinguished by his fine character and beautiful form. In his hand is a miraculous book, and on his tongue a truthful address. He is delivering a pre-eternal sermon to all mankind, indeed to man, jinn, and the angels, and to all beings. He solves and expounds the obscure riddle of the mystery of the world's creation. He discovers and solves the mystery of the universe. And he provides convincing and satisfying answers to the three awesome and difficult questions that are asked of all beings and have always bewildered and occupied minds. Where do you come from? What are you doing here? Where are you going? Inshallah, we had touched upon a few of these points last week about like connecting the dots. I would like to ask, inshallah, to our speakers a few things like, I mean, of course, understanding this part is one, but also uh, this is something many people before Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, especially the Prophet, the messengers, have addressed to some level, but like what should we think about Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam as different or unique in this mission? Because it is not a new mission. It is something that is a continuation from Adam alayhi salam, from Prophet Adam, peace be upon him, all the way to Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So what would be also unique in this mission, and how should we understand this form? Brother Colin, would you like to set us off, inshallah?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It's difficult really to actually gauge what it is about humankind at this juncture in history which sort of enables them to understand things about the creation possibly that weren't understood before, or in a way that hadn't been articulated before. Because we talk now about the Prophet ﷺ delivering a pre-eternal sermon. This is a sermon that had been delivered before, but it seems that now it's much more nuanced and maybe more comprehensive. He's announcing that with his prophethood, humankind has got an opportunity that it's never had before with which to address no less than the riddle of existence itself, the mystery of the creation of the universe. These things were always implicit in the previous messages, but now they seem to come center stage. We're talking now about solving the riddle of existence, the mystery of the creation of the universe, the puzzle of human existence, and all of these big existential questions that beleaguer us, from the day that we open our eyes on the world to the day that we close them again when we die. Why are we here? Where are we from? What's our
Mhm.
duty? Where are we going? What's going to happen to us? It seems for some reason that there is much more nuance, there is much more intentionality in a sense, to ask these questions, to answer these questions, to find answers to all of these existential puzzles. It seems to be articulated in a way and in a manner that didn't happen before, perhaps. It
Okay.
wasn't this
Yeah.
comprehensive. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it is that, I mean, I can feel what it is that makes the message different, but it's difficult to put one's finger on it, and definitively say it's this, it's X, Y, or Z.
And interesting that you put that word like juncture, that juncture in the history. Like it's always, oh, there's also, I guess, the state of humanity at that state versus previous ages. Maybe something is different. I don't know. Brother Jasmine, would you like to comment on this part and maybe, what do you think is like the state of human beings at that age, that might be different than like previous ages? Because like we also see these like, I guess, detailed accounts of hereafter in the Quran, as opposed to more, let's say like superficial. Um, so like, is it the state of the humankind at that point, or is it something else? And also your general comments on this part.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, Mustafa. Thank you, Dr. Colin, for your beautiful expression. Yes, foremost, I would like to express Imam Nursi's method here. He is inviting us to imagine, animating the Rasulullah's mission, going to that time, the era of bliss, the Asr Saada. So imagining is helping us great, really. Considering ourselves at that time, maybe without imagining the conditions or the time of the Prophet Muhammad والسلام, maybe we may not really understand the
Mm,
how his mission is effective.
mm,
Became in very difficult conditions. He made a great job. He made a great duty. So he showed a extraordinary endeavor, showed an extra is very strong iman, belief, and patience to the very tough people. So before Islam, the Arabian Peninsula, the people, they were very obstinate to their traditions. Yeah, very sticking. So conveying the message of Quran, he made a great effort. So although he suddenly emerged, for example, this is an interesting also, at 40 years old. So he maybe he did not have any preparation. So he made a great cause. He emerged with a great cause with Islam, maybe more comprehensively. Mustafa, you asked that
mhm,
point. So before Islam, maybe yeah, the other prophets they brought the same message, but the humanity maybe wasn't ready to a comprehensive message. So with the coming of the Prophet Muhammad alayhi, so the humanity maybe got prepared to a comprehensive message to understand the resurrection maybe more comprehensively with the manifestation of all the beautiful asma. So his cause, his address is universal. The Prophet Muhammad SAW, he's embracing to whole humanity, and not like the previous prophets. They came to some nations, they came to some regions, but the Prophet Muhammad SAW, he came to whole humanity, embracing whole humanity, to answering to all the questions of the humanity. So the unfolding the capacities, the qualities of human being, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is defining. لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. We have created a human being in the most excellent of patterns. So how to unfold these most excellent patterns? So with Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is showing with the message of the Prophet Muhammad, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing how to unfold those treasures, which is hidden in the human beings' capacities that Allah has given many abilities. So I understand that human beings are prepared for the emerging of the Prophet Muhammad so that they can fulfill the most excellent of patterns. Yes.
Yeah, great.
Could I ask a question? Could I ask Brother Jesmi a question, please?
Yes.
Brother, what do you feel is, there is clearly a component of human psycho-spiritual makeup collectively that at this time in history is deemed ready and mature enough to receive the message that was sent with the final prophet. So there is something in human makeup which is, has reached a kind of maturity and is able to withstand, possibly see it as withstanding the kind of questions that are being asked. And you've mentioned also resurrection. Resurrection isn't really accentuated in the previous messages in the way that it's accentuated in this, in the final message. And if you think of a human individual, when a child is very, very small, you don't really talk very much to it about death and about what's going to happen after death. You wait until they're mature enough to be able to understand and to be able to grasp what it is. And I'm thinking, is it possible that humanity, if we see it as an individual, as a single individual, was deemed by God to be mature enough, perhaps, to cope with these questions and to understand them? I'm trying to put my finger on which point it is. And I think, guided by what Jesmi said about resurrection, and also, Mustafa, what you said in your introduction about resurrection is accentuated quite a lot. We know that maybe a third of the Quran deals with the eschaton, the final days, and the resurrection and what comes afterwards, heaven and hell, to an extent that wasn't evident in scriptures which came before. So I'm wondering whether there's a correlation here between the amount of material that there is on the resurrection and the next world, and this point in the development of the human, the collective understanding, if you like, maturity.
And just to add to that question a little bit, I mean, does it have to be a certain, like an event in the human history, or is it more of like forgive the word, evolutionary process, right? Is it like
Yeah, I understand what you mean. I don't think it's a particular event. I'm just, I'm likening, it's analogous to the growth of a child. When a child reaches a certain age, then there are certain questions that you can put to that child, and you will know that as the child becomes a grown up, an adult, they're able to intellectually cope with things that they may not have been able to cope with when they were younger. So I don't know, this is just an idea. I don't know whether we can analogize in this way and liken the whole of humanity to a single human being. I know Ustad Nursi does it a lot, but he does it with wise purpose. I'm just here just imagining what could be a solution to this, because why is the Quran and the message of the Quran so different to previous messages, and at the same time it's reflecting this pre-eternal sermon that Ustad Nursi talks about? So it's different and yet it's the same.
It comes to my mind that Imam Nursi, he is mentioning at the end of the resurrection the 10th word, he's explaining resurrection with the beautiful Asma. In the 12th truth, like 12 doors opening to the reality of resurrection, understanding the next world, very beautifully Imam Nursi he is showing us with Asma. So he is defining that the understanding the resurrection, the next world is understanding the whole Asma in their most highest form. So he is defining also in another part of the tafsir. He is understanding resurrection and great gathering. Hashr it can be achieved only seeing manifestations of the greatest name. Many asma is manifested in the doomsday, in the resurrection. So without understanding those asma, so the hashr cannot be understood well. So Imam Nursi is defining that Rasulullah he has shown all the beautiful asma in his self, and he has explained in the Quran. Yeah, Allah SWT has explained in the Quran by showing this in the life of the Prophet Muhammad the highest levels of the Asma Ilahiyya, the Isma Azam, every name. Like, for example, Allah is, he is giver of the life, so he is showing this in the resurrection in the most perfect way. So all humanity will be resurrected. So without understanding all the manifestations of Asma Ilahiyya, Hashr